Welcome to the SealVac Vacuum Bottom Drain Bowser familiarization video. In this short video, we will acquaint you with safety topics, required external air source, prior use inspection, operational procedures, other operational modes, and troubleshooting tips. The information in this video is derived from the SealVac operation and service manual that shipped with the unit. You might find it helpful to have the manual as a reference while watching the video. This video is intended to supplement the manual. Safety topics. Section V of the SealVac manual covers safety topics associated with this equipment. As you are aware, safe handling of aircraft fuel is serious business. The safety topics discussed in the SealVac manual are general recommendations that may be superseded by local procedures your organization has in place. Here are just some safety topics to be aware of. The manual separates safety notes throughout by weighting the level of hazard as follows, in order of seriousness. Warning: failure to follow could result in injury, serious or fatal, or long-term health hazards. Caution: failure to follow could result in damage or destruction to equipment. Note: highlights an essential condition or step. Refer to the manual for more in-depth definitions. Always wear protective equipment when operating the SealVac, including gloves, face shield, eye protection, and hearing protection. Always bond the SealVac to the aircraft, then clamp to earth ground before using. Ensure a locally approved fire extinguisher is available nearby. Handle recovered fuel in accordance with local regulations. Do not tow the SealVac faster than 15 miles per hour. If backing is required, disconnect the SealVac from the tow vehicle and push into place. You may need several people to safely accomplish this, especially when the SealVac contains fuel. The SealVac is designed to be used outdoors, in adequate ventilation. If the unit must be used indoors, be sure to ventilate fuel vapors outside with approved ventilation equipment. Always ensure the SealVac's brake is applied when parking and before use. Local regulations may also require chalking the wheels. Required external air source. Chapter 1 of the SealVac manual covers general equipment information. Here you will find system components identified, as well as specifications. One essential specification to follow is the appropriate sizing of the external air source. Failing to follow this requirement will result in poor performance of the SealVac system. The SealVac requires an air source providing 45 psi minimum to 100 psi maximum, with a flow rate of at least 68 CFM. This recommends a 3/4 inch air supply hose. Too small a hose will restrict airflow, resulting in poor performance. Prior use inspection. Table 510 in Chapter 5 of the SealVac manual details daily inspection. Check for serviceability and/or operation. Some highlights of a pre-usage inspection: wheels/tires, condition and pressure. Brakes for operation. Tow bar for serviceability. Tank, check for leaks and look inside the top manway for damage. Ground reels, inspect for operation and condition. Hoses, inspect for integrity. Operational procedures. Chapter 4 in the SealVac manual is where you will find step-by-step instructions to prepare and operate the SealVac. Always refer to the manual, especially when employing the SealVac for the first time. Let's take a minute to familiarize ourselves with the main components of the SealVac. We will begin with the vacuum system assembly, shown in Figure 4.1 in the manual. One of 4 fuel extraction ports, each with its own attached flow control valve. Depuddling or utility hose port, also with its own attached flow control valve. Auto shutoff bypass valve. Supply air connector. This port supplies the SealVac's external air requirements, including any optional pneumatic pumps that may be installed on the Plus model. Tank vacuum valve. This controls the SealVac's primary vacuum only. which vacuums fuel from the aircraft. One of 4 tool vacuum ports. One of 4 duplex hose hangers. Vacuum governor. This governor maintains a maximum of 8 inches of mercury inside the tank. Limiting the vacuum-generated protects against damage to the aircraft fuel cells. Take a look at one of the duplex hoses. Inside the sleeve is the main fuel vacuum hose, along with the secondary vacuum hose that attaches to the drain tool. For safety, the main hose is carbon impregnated, which minimizes static buildup from flowing fuel and conducts any charge back to the grounded tank. The fuel probe pigtail assembly has a grounded viewing window so the operator can monitor fuel flowing from the aircraft tank. While we are in front of the SealVac, note the operation of the parking brake handle. In the 12 o'clock position, the brake is applied. In the 3 o'clock position, brakes are released. On top of the tank, check the liquid level gauge. The SealVac will shut off before filling completely, but it is good practice to start the job with an empty tank. In the rear of the tank, we see a main drain valve and a funnel isolation valve. These should both be closed for vacuum operation. The valves are closed when rotated 90 degrees relative to the plumbing. Let's also make sure the SealVac is bonded to the aircraft and grounded to earth ground via the attached grounding reels. Now let's attach our air source at the supply air connector and turn on the main vacuum valve. We will need vacuum to select the correct pin length. Fully uncoil a hose with the attached fuel probe pigtail. We will now select the correct drain tool and pin for the job. The SealVac is supplied with several drain tools. They may be round or oval or elongated. These use the secondary vacuum to adhere to the aircraft sump points. Several aircraft, such as some next-generation 737 models, skip the drain tools and attach directly with a hose and thumb clamp assembly. Alternately, you may find adapting the SealVac's fuel probe pigtail to an existing specialized drain tool works best. There are a large variety of fuel sump attachments in the commercial aircraft fleet, and with a bit of ingenuity, the SealVac's safety and speed can be utilized, no matter the attaching method. Let's learn how to attach the SealVac supplied vacuum drain tools. This is covered in depth in Chapter 4 of the manual. Select a tool that has room to center the sump in the drain hole, with a minimum of surface anomalies to disrupt the vacuum. Rivets or screws, doublers, or panel gaps should be avoided if possible. If not possible, liberal application of the supplied petroleum jelly to the seal will help the drain tool seal adapt to uneven surfaces. This grease will also help the seal splay out against the skin to further improve the tool's adherence. When one has a drain tool selected, we need to install a probe pin into the fuel probe pigtail assembly. The supplied pin kit contains a selection of pins in varied lengths. Refer to the manual to determine proper fuel probe pin length. The ideal probe pin is long enough to fully engage the sump valve, but not so long that damage or jamming of the valve can occur. The rule of thumb is to select the shortest pin and work up to a pin that allows the fuel to flow well. It is likely that this same pin length will be required at this sump location on all of the same aircraft model. Note that some aircraft sump valves are different as one travels down the wing and may require a different length pin. Taking good notes here will save time later. It is not unusual for a single airframe to use up to 4 different pin lengths to cover all the sumps on the aircraft. Continuing in Chapter 4, we will now operate the SealVac and drain fuel from an aircraft sump. If not already attached, connect the air source to the supply air connector. Hold the drain tool and insert the supplied gold alignment tool into the drain tool hub. Align the drain tool and alignment tool pin to the center of the aircraft sump valve. The alignment tool will help ensure the drain tool is centered. Push up on the alignment tool while pushing up on the drain tool gold slide valve. This activates the secondary vacuum to adhere the tool to the aircraft skin. It may take a second or two to completely grab the surface. Continue to push up until it does. Remove the alignment tool and visually check centering through the hub. If not already enabled, return to the SealVac and turn on the associated fuel extraction port flow valve and tank vacuum valve. Return to the drain tool and insert the fuel probe pigtail assembly up and into the drain tool's hub. Lock the probe by turning a quarter turn until the probe stops. Fuel should be observed flowing in the viewing window. When fuel flow stops, push and hold the vacuum breaker valve on the probe. Unlock and carefully pull fuel probe out of drain tool. Use end of probe to vacuum any residual drops from tool hub. Hold hose up for about 15 seconds to allow fuel to clear the main hose. Turn off the fuel extraction port flow valve and the tank vacuum valve. Remove drain tool assembly by pulling down on the gold slide valve. Stow hose and tools. If you should fill the tank before completing the job, here is a tip about the auto shutoff system. The system is designed to shut off the main vacuum when the tank is nearly full. The auto shutoff bypass valve is provided to override the interruption of vacuum only to clear fuel from the main vacuum hose to facilitate emptying the tank. Follow the procedures in Chapter 4 to prevent a fuel spill. Another safety note: if you should need to pause draining operations, ensure the drain hose is removed from the drain tool assembly as previously described. Fuel can gravity drain down the hose, even with vacuum turned off and the air source disconnected. This could result in the tank overflowing. Other operational modes. To use the SealVac in depuddling mode, follow the steps outlined in Chapter 4 of the manual. Many of the steps are similar. Additionally, the SealVac can accommodate gravity draining if equipped with a telescoping funnel. Chapter 4 describes this operation in detail. Troubleshooting the SealVac. The SealVac has proven to be a very dependable piece of maintenance equipment. Experience shows us that the majority of the time, problems can be traced back to the air source. If the SealVac is performing poorly, ensure the air source meets the required specifications. Once again presented here for emphasis: 45 psi minimum to 100 psi maximum, with a flow rate of at least 68 CFM. A 3/4-inch air supply hose will ensure the required pressure and flow are available at the SealVac supply air connector. Occasionally, some users have reported minor misting from the top of the vacuum assembly. This is caused by the foam sound muffler inside the vacuum generator becoming saturated with fuel, usually from the SealVac being repeatedly operated to a near full condition. It can also occur if the operating air pressure greatly exceeds 100 psi. Wearing gloves, remove the end cap from the generator, slide the muffler from the cylinder, and wring the fuel out into the top manway. This will alleviate the issue. If the gold alignment tool center pin binds or sticks, this is usually caused by it becoming bent. Straighten out the pin to restore proper operation. Some commercially available air compressors contain a demand-regulated governor that speeds up the compressor when needed. This may not provide enough vacuum to adhere the drain tools. The solution is to turn on the tank main vacuum before attempting to attach the drain tool. This will typically kick up the compressor RPM to provide sufficient airflow to generate a usable secondary vacuum. Some compressor models allow the user to override the governor entirely. This would be preferred. Thank you for your attention viewing this video. Properly used, the SealVac will shave hours from the job of draining fuel, keeping the user and the environment safe in the process.